Whoa, it's the Illusion reporting from somewhere on space, ship, Earth, Talons Out Ranch. We're gonna get that salmon. Checking in here, dude. We're trying to get more on this this vibe. Geez, that's a mess, isn't it? That is a mess, isn't it? But I've been out using the tractor a bunch lately. Look at that. Look at that rad tractor right there. Got all crazy with the tiller deck. I went out and I tilled up the garden here, man, to fluff up the soil and get it all ready, man. I'm gonna add a bunch of this stuff is potent in here. So I'm getting my beds all organized again and getting that all loosened up. And then I went out and did the front field here and turned all the, just fluffed this up because it was super hard from all the cows, and just dug in their manure. And when the next rain comes, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna sprinkle a bunch of barley and alfalfa seeds and stuff and get some stuff growing out there and do that kind of thing. And we're getting fired up. I was working on some frames and some art, and I got kind of lost for a minute. I was like, and that's what usually happens. I get lost in it, and I was like, oh, and it's time to check in it. And oh, dude, there's a pause button. Wow, that's new. There's a pause button. Let's check that out again. Oh, we're back. Wow, that is an upgrade. I had the phone was giving me a bunch of trouble. Wouldn't let, and I realized I hadn't done an update, and it was doing that weird thing where it was hogging up all the memory or the store. It was just stuffing it with some sort of like storage. And I went online, looked, and you had to like reset the date a year into the future, and it glitched it out to open up a bunch of space for the thing. And then I updated it, and it's like, wow, the phone is, I'm back in the saddle again. So yeah, it's I'm getting fired up, man. I'm really getting pretty pumped for this coming year. Last couple days of 2024, dude, kind of not like all the drama of it all is all over. So it's time to get busy building the new future. I'm kind of uncloak my art and do that. I got a couple videos to make before the end of the year here. I don't know if we'll pull that off. I always say I'm gonna do it, but it's sitting down and editing videos is tricky. But with that said, I was communicating with a friend of mine I haven't talked to in a while, and he's like, how's it going up there? And I'm like, well, I'm finally kind of beginning to get into the rhythm of this whole thing. And I think where I'm going a little bit on this sort of vibe is dispelling the hustle, in the sense of everyone's trying to sell you that all you got to do is a couple things and it's super easy. And it doesn't really work like that. Yeah, like the basic premise of you want change in your life. Yeah, that's a given. Who doesn't? I mean, I guess all sorts of people don't want change, but most of us want to progress and evolve and become better human beings and get closer to God and get spiritually like fit and physically fit, and we bump into these things. So we're looking for a bunch of like kind of answers, right? I mean, that's the nature of the human experience, is to learn from people that have broken trail already, because the hard part is to go out there and break your own trail, right? And I think coming into 2025, one of the things we don't really have to do is break trail anymore. We just have to define what kind of trail we want to take, and actually go and look at the maps, so to speak. And what I've realized really a lot lately is most people are selling you the steps of easiness. And I think that, like, when I look at it, I kind of can take it from an alcoholic perspective. Like the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, they're pretty basic. They're like, it's all written down, everything you need to do. And yet most people really don't want to get better, dude. Like, the majority of people just don't want to get better. They will come up with any excuse. I don't like being around people. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. And so the basic steps to the new paradigm are sort of pointless. And I think the reason that it's sort of like, the one thing it bumps into is people intuitively know that it's not easy, any of this stuff. And so when they look at it and it's like, oh, you just do these 12 steps, or these 3 steps, or you do this, and miraculously your life's going to change. It doesn't really work like that. And as I'm moving forward, I'm trying to like hone in on this thing that my friend Jordan's been kind of getting me back about, like sharing my knowledge in a sort of educational format, which is not my thing because I'm an off-the-cuff kind of guy. But what I've realized with all of it is most people who are selling you this thing, whether it's homesteading, sobriety, becoming an artist, I don't know, dating, whatever it is, they tell you if you just do this, all of a sudden it's all going to happen. And what the truth of the matter is there's a huge period of combat, brutal, metaphysical, mental combat that you have to go through to get to anywhere. And so when I'm beginning to look at this, like I started getting, like, I'm really 4 months ahead of where I was with my outdoor garden last year, just on the logistic size. But I'm a year ahead on like learning what went wrong last year. So I'm coming into this year, I'm already like, I gained a bunch of knowledge from last year that I didn't have last year, and I had to get my ass kicked last year. And so every part of like this homesteading, ranch life, what off the grid thing, whatever you want to call it, it looks good on paper. Oh yeah, you just leave the city and move out into the country. But in the thing is what the steps that people aren't sharing with you is the mental combat in the middle of that. Yeah, it's easy. You go do this, you go do that, and A equals B equals C equals D, and all the way to Z, right? But in between, there is this huge broken part of it where it does not compute. And you have to ride through that part of it not computing and get to the other side, which is, you know, what perseverance and faith and all of these types of things are. And so I think part of like the lesson I'm trying to give to people is dispel the myth that it's easy. Like homeschooling. Homeschooling is combat, man. And what's the point of homeschooling if you're just going to hire tutors, right? It's sort of like that. It's someone was like, oh, just what's the point of doing all this if I'm going to go just disappear for a month at a time? I was looking at in the chat the other day, someone's like, oh, I just want a homestead and be able to go surfing for like a month. But what's the point of homesteading then? Like, the homesteading's about being in the rhythm of all of this. And I don't think they really put that in the sell package, because the hustle is that it's all rainbows and lollipops and fancy pants, but it's not. It's about like time and dedicating yourself to figuring out the time code, the sky clock, and the whole thing. And you can't do that in a year. I don't know if you can do it in a decade. But what you can do is realize that the benefits of doing this thing, like all right, for example, circling back to sobriety, like, you know, the hardest part of it all is admitting that you want to get sober, but that's also the easiest part of it all. The real combat is being, I'm going to be 15 years sober in a couple days, right? Maintaining that 15 years later, dude, it's combat, but it's good combat. It's way better than I thought, way different than I thought. But if someone had sold me you just leave the city and set up a homestead and everything's going to be fine, I would be drinking again, right? And I think a lot of people with most of these endeavors are sold that it's just these steps, and the steps are sort of the skeleton to any of these things, but the flesh and the meat needs to be animated on the bones, right? And that is up here and in here, and it's gnarly, dude. It is the gnarliest form of life battle ever, dude. And it's a good thing. It's not this easy go destroy stuff. It's building and moving through it and just checking in. So that's kind of where we're going. I thought I would just check in. I'm amazed at this pause button. I want to hit it again just because it's rad. I'm over here. Dude, pause button, dude. Just made my world 100% better, man. Anyway, is the illusion fired up? So, hey, look, this is like straight up moving forward. Like, sign up, become a member of this channel, dude. Because, like, I'm not into like paywalls, but like, you should, like, if you find value, you should play, because I'm dependent upon it for what I do as a living. But you know, you can also buy art and t-shirts, or just straight donate via PayPal, or there's crypto keys and all that kind of good stuff, because you know, a rising tide lifts all boats, and that's what I'm about. I think I spent a number of years in this in a weird space, and I'm really beginning. I think this last little surf trip broke free. There was something happened on one of the waves where it all clicked back in, and we got it going. And I'm feeling pretty good and pretty optimistic, and I'm super amped on what the future is going to bring. So remember, that was like the money pitch right there, but the real pitch is like, look, the most important thing you can do to support this channel is use the name tags, be kind to people, and be kind to yourself, and go on the journey, dude. Just go on the journey. All right, this is The Illusion signing off.